Okay, just got to remember as we go through. There's no rush.
No.
I don't know why you rushed. I don't have to rush. I'll have a sip of wine.
Why am I putting so much pressure on you?
All right. I think we're good.
You seem very nervous tonight, Matthew. You've got a lot to bring to the table here.
Hat straight.
Oh, cute little stripy sock you've got on there tonight. I like that little one.
Episode 6, we are back again. How you doing, Wallis?
Very well. Good to be here.
Yes, and welcome back all our skippies, all our listeners. Thanks for joining. If you're here for the very first time, this is Skip the Beat, a podcast loosely based on music. And my name is Matt, and I'm joined each week by the other half of the podcast, Katie Wallis, or we call her Wall, or Kato, or Potato, or whatever really.
Whatever you like.
You don't have any particular preference?
No.
No, okay.
I mean, of the things you listed, potato would be at the bottom of the list, but
Okay.
but it has been known to happen.
It has. Certain
Yeah.
people have called you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we've had a busy week. We've
have.
had lots of things on, which we've got to get to this week. But I think to start things off, we normally go through a process of going, look, we look back on the previous week. Is there anything we regret or feel sorry for? Apologies. I've got one. I don't know if you do as well. Do you want me to go first? Or?
I've got one apology to issue, but you can go first.
Okay.
If you'd like.
Well, look, on listening back, I do need to offer an apology to any past, present or future Olympians that may be heading to Olympic Games at some point in time and downplaying how good a bronze medal might be with me wanting gold and being annoyed when athletes don't get gold and other countries do it ahead of them. So I do apologise.
So just issuing a blanket statement that here at Skip the Beat podcast, we are supporting all of our Olympians.
Absolutely. Whether you're on the podium or not, you got there, you've had a go, well done.
Well done.
You've done better than what I would be able to do in any sport.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And your apology?
I've got an apology which I didn't realise I needed to make, but the person in question told me that they wanted an apology. And this is back to episode 4, the car with the world's longest tow bar episode.
Okay.
And the other, I did the Remember the Time, well, from the pouch as it is now known.
It is.
That in that episode was about when my musical partner Joy ripped the bumper bar off that car, and Joy just wanted it to be known to everyone that I did some really annoying things on that trip as well, and that one of those things was that on the world's longest tow bar, for the entire trip up to Cairns and back, we had a bike rack on with my bicycle, and I didn't ride my bike once the entire trip. And every time we needed to get something out of the boot of the car, we had to take the bike rack off, so that we could open up the boot. And so Joy just thinks she might have had a minor incident with the bumper bar, but I created inconvenience at every single stop on that trip.
So she's requested an apology from you to her directly.
She has. She I think she just felt it necessary for me to apologise for taking that bike on that trip 12 years ago. And for all of the heartache that it caused her over that 3-month period.
Well, it came off many times, but it didn't come off to be ridden once.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my little apology. And we've also had a bit of feedback. Did you want to give some feedback on the episodes?
Well, you've got the mic. You've got the lead. Your podcast.
We're still getting, feedback is still definitely coming in for Pun of the Week. I've had a big note from our friend Muir. She said, no more Pun of the Week. So that's the only person who I've had a hardline no from, though. So other bits and pieces dribbling in. My dad had some feedback on the name Skippies.
Okay.
I don't think he's opposed to Skippies, and he's a bit late to the party now because we have already landed on that. But he was listening to episode 4, and he was saying, I'd like to be referred to as one of the P's of the pod.
Peas of the pod.
Yeah, and he said that could also be a contender for Pun of the Week. So look, he's thrown in some feedback and an Aussie dad pun, and so that's Gary Wallace, everybody.
Jeeves. Okay.
Yep, stepping into the pod. I think that the other feedback I had was from your dear wife, Jen, who thought it might be worth pointing out to our listeners that when we did your gap in knowledge last week, that you did say the word perifoul.
Instead of pen foul. Yeah. No, pea-fowl.
Pea-fowl, yeah.
Got it wrong the second time. It's a pen foul.
So you sort of had a gap in knowledge within a gap in knowledge in the telling of your gap in knowledge. Having said that, I haven't had any feedback from anyone else about whether they think it was a gap in knowledge
Well,
or
I got
not.
a little bit more on that. See, I work with someone who I would call him a Skippy, but I don't think he's actually listened to any of our episodes. But
we'll take him.
Potential Skippy Carl, who I work with, is a massive bird lover, and he's a phenomenal photographer, and probably in the last 12 to 18 months has got really into bird photography, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
So he's a real go-getter.
Yeah. And I spoke with him last week at work afterwards, and I said, look, is this a gap in knowledge or not? And he said, no, I think you're absolutely fine. I think there would be many, many people that would just call them peacocks as a blanket thing, and that's a male peacock and a female peacock. So he goes, I don't think you got anything to worry about.
That's what my gut's telling me as well, but I haven't had anyone give me that feedback. So it's good you've had one person sort of supporting our theory there. Very good.
So I think I'm fine.
Yeah. I think you might be too.
That's why it wasn't on the apology list for this week.
Yeah.
But
just
clearly,
the perifowl.
Yeah.
Just the perifowl was because that's
Peafowl.
not even a word.
No.
You've just made that up.
Yeah. I don't know where Perry came from.
It's not peafowl. Oh, yeah, it is peafowl. Oh, God. It's really killing us here. So on that note, we will, I think, make a promise that we at some point will jump back in with another one of your gaps in knowledge that is a genuine gap in knowledge.
Yes, because we definitely have some.
We do have some.
Around certain words.
And
we'll
one
get to
of
them.
yours is one of my favourites of all time.
It is.
So, yeah, we
well,
will
I
get to it.
got feedback as well.
Excellent.
And I'm going to call them Skippies because one of the feedback was from Skippy Barb, who I believe is a US listener. And she said the exact words, happy to be a Skippy.
Excellent.
She also said in a later sentence that she looks forward to the album review, which we'll get to a little bit later because you had a challenge this week to listen to an album.
I did.
So thank you, Barb, Skippy Barb. And also some other feedback from Skippy Isaac, who agreed with me that it's not weird to be wanting, back to the Olympic chat, it's not weird to want a bronze, silver and gold medal, one of each. And he goes back to his schooling years when it sounds like he was a bit of a gun at shot put. And he actually got a second, then a third, and then got the best, got the
gold.
The gold. So he's got one of each in a slightly different order, but he was very happy to see.
He's living the dream there in the high school shot put.
That's all you want. You want one of each.
Yep.
Yeah. So well done, Skippy Isaac.
Well done.
Good to know you're on board, mate.
Skippy Isaac did disappoint me earlier when he was really vocal about supporting Pun of the Week, so it's good that he's come through with some better content.
I know last week. We'll just wait for this week. We'll see what the verdict is. It's not going anywhere.
No, it's definitely not
We'll
going
have good
anywhere.
weeks, we'll have bad weeks, we'll have weeks where you'll groan.
And that's just the ride we've decided to go on together.
Absolutely. That's it.
Final bit of feedback, back to a tiny bit of skipped knowledge. Also had another Skippy weigh in to say they might like to see that session. That's my phone ringing.
Take a phone call live on the pod.
That's my sister.
Oh, Annie.
Annie.
Or Sandra, you've got two.
I do. I think, yeah, it's Annie though. Listener who got in touch with me so skipped knowledge that might also include things like skipped lyrics, because we know there's a lot of I've got a few classics from friends of mine, so people who've got song lyrics wrong over time, so we might slip that in at some point as well as just
skip knowledge
as a little section.
Could be gaps in knowledge, gaps in lyrics, anything.
So thank you so much for your feedback, everybody, helping us to refine some of these segments and give you the things that you're wanting. So what else has been happening in your week this week? What have you been up to?
Look, big week, busy week with just work. I in the day job, I work for a website and digital marketing company, and that is just going through a really busy period at the moment. But it's good. It's a good busy. Good to have plenty of things to do. Music-wise, still looking at tour things, and really exciting is we are starting to look at a Perth date. Just from a bunch of people that have been hitting our Instagram up saying, when are you coming to Perth? And it's just getting more and more and more. So we're looking at potentially doing that in sometime in the first couple of months of 2025.
Very exciting indeed.
Yes, I've never been to Perth and would love to go over to the West, even if it's only for a few days. I think might have to make sure the Trip has an extra day on after the gig just to see a little bit of the city. Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have a Perth date in the next couple of weeks.
Very, very exciting. I got to listen to a few rough cuts of some Alta Falls tracks this week.
You did.
Which was very, very exciting, and some good stuff coming out very soon.
The thing I like about your feedback is you're the type of person I can trust, because we've done music together for years. I know that you will be honest and say, look, it's not great. I think it's good, but it could be better. So your instant reaction for that first song you listened to, going straight into the chorus, which I've been kind of doubting. I don't know why, because I do like it.
Yeah.
But to get that feedback was
strong, positive reaction from me.
I think
strong and immediate.
I think you used the word bop.
Yeah, I did. It was a real bop.
Bop. So yes, that is hopefully going to be in the mixing and mastering stage very soon.
Fantastic. Well, I had a bumper weekend, and before we get on to music chat, the thing I did this weekend that was not music related went to some stand-up comedy at the Tivoli. So the Melbourne Comedy Festival, which is one of the biggest comedy festivals going around. I actually went down to Melbourne earlier this year and saw a couple of shows down there as part of that. It's such a great vibe down there during Comedy Festival, and they've sort of done this road show where they take some of the acts from Melbourne Comedy Festival on a little road show around the country. So we had 4 stand-up comics plus a 5th who was the MC for the night. Brilliant stuff, super funny. Sometimes, some sets I felt like they took a bit to get going, but I got at least a couple of big laughs out of each set. Very, very fun night at the Tivoli. Just one of my favourite places to be. And it was seated, so it was wonderful, just relaxed. I could see everything.
The back thanked you.
The back thanked me. The 43-year-old feet thanked me. Yeah, I just got to sit back and have a lovely night. Got to see the stage. Yeah, I did. Could see everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good. Really fun. So that was sort of the non-musical thing. And then I guess musically we're going to jump into a bit of big chat now, because we had a few things going on. Do you want me to do my other one first before we lead into George?
Yes, you need to.
Yeah, so on Friday night, I went, my cousin's daughter, so she's my second cousin, Amelie. I don't know if she's skippying or not. I think she might be skipping. I know that my cousin definitely has been known to be a skippy. She is a student of performing arts, so musical theatre. She's second year out of high school, I'm pretty sure, and has some ambitions to be in musical theatre. So they sort of were doing a showcase night of big rock songs, and one of the students had written it into sort of a musical, so they'd sort of woven some storyline through it.
Very cool.
So a bunch of students, big numbers. There were some highs, there were some lows, which always happens. Em was telling me after the show that they sort of only pulled a whole heap of stuff together at the last minute. They'd only done their tech the day of our performance that we saw. So still some things that they were sort of trying to iron out. It was at this really cool little venue, which I think from the signs I could see was actually a ballet school out in Stafford. So sort of middle of the burbs, but a really cute little theatre. I just am a bandit for that sort of stuff. Between 4 and 6 times a year, I go and see students from the Conservatorium of Music. The musical theatre students do their showcases and their performances. And when you see stuff like this, and it's young people, reasonably fresh out of school, and those performances are as good as anything you'll see at QPAC. Just the talent is absolutely outstanding. And so, I do a lot of that stuff with a little group of friends of mine. It's one of my favourite things to do, to see young people having a real crack at this stuff. So that was Friday night. Comedy was Saturday night. And then last night we had quite the night.
We did indeed. At a venue that, look, everyone's thinking it's going to close down. I'm calling BS on it. I reckon it'll be saved. Someone will buy it, and we'll be back there seeing gigs in no time at all.
Certainly some stuff was said from the stage last night that led us to believe that might be the case, that there might be some sort of saving going on for the zoo.
But we saw a local Brisbane artist who, for the last, 20, 25 years, has been an icon in the Australian music scene. Well, her and her brother, but her more so, I guess. She's had the slightly bigger career. But we saw a band called George, which the two main musicians in that are Katie and Tyrone Noonan. Yep. And it was... Seriously, was it an anniversary of the album? I don't think.
It was the 20-year anniversary of Polyserena.
Because I thought this is where I thought I got it wrong. Because in my head, Polyserena was released in like 2002. Just from my memory of when you're going to do a little Google. Google that live on the pod.
Google.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong.
Maybe it wasn't. I might have made it.
But they played. I think it was just they loved the zoo. They've done so many things there over the years at the zoo. And
2002, you are correct.
There you go. My little timeline in my head has been bugging me.
Yep.
But yes, they played the album from beginning to end with one little set change because she introduced a song, went into this big, deep and meaningful of a song and then realised that, oh, no, it's not track 3, that was track 5. So we'll do a little back and forth. But yeah, if you have not listened to a band called George and their album Serena, sorry, and they're actually jumping off topic, well, on topic, but off the topic of what I was on, great content. Polyserena, it's not about a girl named Serena. Did you hear that part last night?
No, I don't think I did.
We might get to why you might have missed that part last night because it was towards the end of the show.
Okay.
But poly meaning more than one, and Serena, which has come from serenity.
Oh, wow.
So that's where the name was birthed.
Yeah, awesome.
From. So, a great album. They do track from track where Katie is the lead singer on one, Tyrone is the lead singer, and it keeps alternating all the way through the album. And I remember back in my high school days, my music teacher at the time, I'm not sure if Vicky is a Skippy or not. It feels weird calling her Vicky. But Skippy Vicky, if you're listening, you were the one that introduced me to George back in music class in 2002.
Wow.
And absolutely love Katie Noonan right then and there. So,
yeah,
thank you. Great night. What's your review on it?
Yeah, so my review of the night, I think I turned to you at one point and was trying to just do who can sing better than this in Australia? And just tried to list off a few
Two names I think you got to. And I couldn't think of any more.
Yeah. And I know that obviously I know there's just hundreds and thousands of beautiful singers in this country, but in my sphere, when I really thought about who can sing like this, and it's not just the quality of the voice, but the range is just extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. Opening song of the night, she hit some notes that would have had the local dogs running. They were outrageously high. I thought of Kate Miller-Heidke because she will jump into some epic opera in the middle of some of her songs. And I thought of Tina Arena, who has some pretty epic pipes. I've seen her live. Those were the only two people I could think of.
They can get into that really high range. There's only a few, and I can't think of anyone else.
Yeah.
There's some wonderful female singers out there, but to get into that register, insane.
And just to do it all night, it's not sort of a party trick. It's just part of her natural range. Absolutely extraordinary.
Hold it for seconds and seconds and seconds. It's like the falsetto of falsetto.
Yeah.
That's the only way to describe it, I guess.
Yeah, just an absolute masterclass of vocal performance.
Oh, it's
to me.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and I remember when I, discovered their album back in the 2000s when it was released. I used to skip every second song because I only wanted to hear Katie Noonan singing, and that sort of checks out from my history of music. I think at one point, my sister Anna and I counted our CD collections, and at that time, 90% of I think I owned about 300 CDs, and 90% of them, must be nice, 90% of them were women, artists. And Anna's was the exact opposite. Not about 80% of hers were men from memory. So, yeah, I very much am a woman singer-songwriter. That's my vibe for what I love to listen to. So it's only really been But then when going back and listening to the album in the last few weeks, I was like, no, I must have listened to the whole album heaps, because I also really love all the ones that Tyrone sings. There's something much more mellow about his voice.
He's a brilliant songwriter.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. It's an unbeatable combination with the two of them singing together. And to have Katie Noonan's son drumming for them,
unbelievable,
amazing
family reunion.
Yeah, incredible.
And the other son came up to sing some harmonies for a song.
Did do, yeah.
Yep, Mum got up.
Yes.
Yeah, quite emotional night, really.
It was just a breezy affair, yeah.
At a venue iconic venue that...
Yeah, the sticky floors of the zoo. You walk in there and you just feel those floorboards sticking to your shoes.
Also, middle of winter, we all had jackets on. It was quite cold. Within 5 minutes of walking into there, it's off, and like you could be standing there in shorts.
You could, yeah. Hottest venue in
the world, probably.
It holds its name well.
It does.
I haven't been there for a long time, but yeah, it was really, really spectacular. So if you're well late to the party, it doesn't matter. The album holds up, absolutely holds up. So get on it. Polyserena by George.
Any other memorable moments from last night with you, Wallis? Are we going there?
I mean, I don't know what you're referring to, Matthew.
I reckon there was a song and a conversation that happened on stage, and the whole song that you might have missed. And also maybe 7 or 8 people around the vicinity of us missed as well. I don't know if you want to elaborate on.
I mean, I guess we've been debating whether or not to share this story because...
And it may be cut.
Because you're really going to get to know me, I guess, in the real me.
It was about 7 that did last night.
In the telling of this story. We went to a wonderful vegan restaurant for dinner, a bar, I guess you'd call it, called Netherworld in the Valley in Brisbane, before the gig. And I don't know what I ate. I mean, I do know what I ate. I had a delicious vegan burger, but something started to be really not right in my tummy. And it became apparent about halfway through the gig that things were not going well for me, and there was some gas. There was a situation with some gas, and initially we were able to keep it in shop just amongst our friends that we were with. There were 5 of us there. Just a party of 5. We just would keep it tight, and Matthew told us all just put our nose in our drinks and we'd get through it together as a team. And then something pretty big happened. The emissions escaped our little pod, and a few of the people standing next to us realised that it was me, that I was the culprit. And I guess the high point,
just standing there trying to ignore it.
I mean, I was just trying not to die. Let's be real. There was a lot of fanning of faces, and it was pretty rotten. And the real high point or the low point, I don't know how you want to look at the story, but the real high point for me was when a complete stranger who was standing about 5 meters away from me diagnosed me with Crohn's disease based on the smell of the gas alone.
While Katie Noonan is having this real big D&M conversation about how much the venue means to her.
Yeah.
Now they need to save it. And this...
and giving a novelty-sized check to a Save a Venue fund, and I was busy being diagnosed with Crohn's disease side of stage.
And the back of the venue was absolutely piercing themselves laughing.
It was minging. It was absolutely minging back there. And so then I got home. And
you Googled what Crohn's disease
was? I knew I'd heard of Crohn's disease, but I can never remember what it actually is. And so for those who care to put a full stop on this story, Crohn's disease is a chronic inflammatory bowel disease that affects the lining of the digestive tract.
There you go.
So I don't know what vegan food has done something. It has inflamed the tract.
The other thing I love was that slightly intoxicated lady in front of us that turned around and said, I need to thank you for 2 things. Number 1, your beautiful voice from your top end, and then just making me laugh from the other.
And she said, "Can you tell me your name, please? Because I need to have a name for this story when I retell it." She didn't try and diagnose me, though. She just thanked me.
And you told her your name was Claudia. Just
So if you hear that story going around, it is me.
It's Claudia at the zoo.
That night I cleared the back half of the zoo.
Well done.
With my Crohn's disease.
Now, we gave you a little challenge last week to listen to an album.
Did, yes.
At the Roadhouse, their most recent album. What did you think? It's a long one.
It is a long one. And, yeah, some of my feedback about that will come at the end of this little review. I've got to say that the reviewing of the album started incredibly badly. So the first listen through of the album, I really didn't like it at all for the first listen through. And in fact, I fell asleep during the first listen through. It was just, everything just felt really slow and boring and repetitive and long. That was the first listen. And then I really had to put it to bed for a minute because I thought I don't want to. So I gave it a little bit of a break, and it was actually only in the last 36 hours that I had a few more listens to it. And weirdly, I think, it was I'm still not there, but it's been a slow burn for me. It had a lot more country vibes than I was expecting from an alt folk album, but not a bad thing at all because we know I love the country music. And what I really particularly enjoyed once I sort of got into it a bit more was there was some really nice little gospel moments. It's like some really cool little gospel vocal moments particularly, which I liked. The Mercy outro was very, very cool. Loved that. The weirdest thing for me was that I enjoyed the second half of the album significantly more than the first half of the album. So when it gets to Maria, It's Time, that is just my standout track.
Wow.
Absolute standout favourite track on the whole album. That's the one song I loved instantly, and I had fallen asleep before that song in the first listen, so I didn't get to it.
So it wasn't until later on that you
got to that second half of the album, and that's when it really started to appeal to me. So 2 standout tracks from me to keep this a bit short: Maria, It's Time and Sweet Sound of You. Those were my 2 standout tracks, both in the second end of the album, and actually my third and fourth follow closely following those first 2, Pocket Full of Rain and Darkness at My Door, close 3 and 4. So all of those songs within the last half of the album, and that is never what happens with an album. All of the songs I like are always normally stacked in the top end. Yeah, the top half.
Okay.
So overall feedback is that I think most of the songs were about a minute too long. That's just my honest opinion. And I went and did a little bit of a look to see how long things were. There's only 2 songs of the 16 that are under 4 minutes.
It's a long album.
Yeah, there's only 7 songs of the 16 that are under 5 minutes. So 9 of the songs on the album are longer than 5 minutes. And that's normally on a mainstream type album, which I would say they are in the Australian music scene, you'd maybe get a couple of songs over 5 minutes. So more than half the album. So to me, the songs felt a little bit too long, but to have 4 standout songs is pretty great. That's a lot, but it would be a 7 out of 10 for me.
7 out of 10.
7
there
out
you
of 10.
go. Well, I'm not going to go into a review it because I love the album. I gave it to you. My standout track, very, very different, that got me straight away was June's Stolen Car.
Ah, interesting.
And I love how that was the first time I'd heard them, the guitarist and Sam, switch vocals, and they sing a verse each and things like that. So quite a little bit of a different outtake.
That's
I would
deep
say,
in the album too.
Me. But yes,
interestingly,
great. I love June's Stolen Car. So anyone who hasn't heard of the Paper Kites, I think their first big song was Bloom many years ago. That I think many people around the world, it was kind of an international hit for them. I think there's many people in the States I know that love Bloom, and a lot of covers have been done of that. It's not my favourite album. I love it. I love everything the Paper Kites have done. It's not 12/4. 12/4 is I'd rate that as a solid 10 album. But at the Roadhouse, and I am very similar to you. It took me a couple of listens to get in because it was, again, I was like, oh, this is kind of like a real kind of mood. I've got to be in the right mood to listen to this. This is not something that I rarely put it on when I'm working because I like it. It's just if I just need some chill out stuff.
Far too chill. It's super chill.
It's super good. They nail the chill. So the Paper Kites, at the Roadhouse, give it a listen.
Yeah, definitely. It could creep up to an 8 for me on a few more listens, I think. And I think my overall thing was exactly what you just said. In the right setting, a great chill backing sort of for a chill night. Yeah, definitely worth a listen though. Great band.
Okay. Now, looking at the whiteboard, we're moving on to a segment called From the Pouch, apparently what it's called now.
Yeah.
Now, can you do me the honours and hit that top right? From the pouch.
Well, that's new.
I'm going to say anything. Just, I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
Something has crept into the system. must mean it's there to stay. I don't know.
Must mean.
Still got that wind chime there.
I wasn't consulted. It is my sound after all. But
we might have to have a chat.
Okay. Matt's bringing us something from the pouch tonight.
I've dug deep into the pouch and I'm going back to 2009 for mine. And I wanted to bring it up because I think it's fitting. Talking about the George experience you had earlier of some flatulence that was happening.
Oh God, is this another story about me?
No. I thought it was time to even up.
Oh, okay.
And that time we were in a van traveling around the US.
This is very appropriate. I just realised what you were going to do.
And so we've talked about the North American tour that we did. We've mentioned it a couple of times. You'll hear many from the pouch moments of that tour, but this is quite a quick one, and we'll make it quick because we've got a few more things to get through.
We do.
But I don't know if I was driving. I think I was driving because I remember you were in the back seat.
I was.
And I don't know, after how many takeaway meals or Chinese buffets we had within a short amount of time.
Yeah.
It wasn't great for the bowels of any of us really, but
we all had a touch of the Crohn's.
Yeah, I made a certain movement that created something that, from memory,
I was asleep.
You were asleep.
I was asleep.
And I wish I could give everyone the visual, but I looked in the rear vision mirror at Katie in the back seat, and she kind of she's sleeping and just kind of, she then looked and she's like, was that you? Woke you up.
Woken from my sleep by the
windows
filthiest.
Down. Was it? That's when you know you've got friends.
That's
when
right.
that happens and it wakes you up and you still can talk about it years later. So there you go. You're not the only one.
Yeah, between the two of us, there has been some serious Crohn's.
We're some special people, aren't we?
We are. It's lucky we found each other, Matt.
That's my From the Pouch.
That is a great From the Pouch.
From the pouch.
Pouch.
And while we're there,
we're keeping the extended intro, are we?
Look, we may as well.
Yeah.
Nice quick one this week.
Yeah.
What's Mozart doing these days?
I don't know.
Decomposing.
Oh. Now that's music pun of the week, folks.
Done.
Very good. Moving right along.
I got it very good from you this week. I'm waiting for Muir's feedback now. We'll see.
I think I was saying very good that's done.
It's done. Okay,
I think that's what I was meaning.
And onto a segment I don't have any more surprises in the bag for this, but if we're going to make it a semi-regular thing, this or that, something might have to be created.
Yeah, I'll probably have to do it.
Or just...
Even though I don't know how to.
But you gave me this or that last week, which was kind of a rapid fire this or that.
Yep.
And then you gave me the challenge to create one for you.
Okay, yep.
I thought long and hard about this, and I've got 12 to run through. So if we've got any discussion points that come up of any of them, that's fine. We can do that.
Okay.
Otherwise...
I'm a bit scared. I'm a bit scared because I feel like you've put a lot of thought into this. And
New Zealand or South Africa? No.
Yeah. So, okay.
It's more New Zealand, I think.
I'm worried.
I'm scared.
I'm scared.
All right. We're ready? I've put a bit of thought into it. Okay, here we go. Hot cinnamon donuts or fresh pink donut lady?
Oh, gosh. For those who don't know, which is probably all of you Skippies, donut is my favourite food group of all the food groups.
I know.
So this
I knew
is
this
very
would rock
much
you straight out of the gate.
This is very much like asking who your favourite child is. I'd have to say the fresh pink iced.
The fresh pink ice gets
Yeah.
you. Okay.
Only because I know that I've purchased that more often. So
Okay.
I'm just using that as evidence. But,
Okay.
mate, I'd smash either of those in a heartbeat.
I'm more hot cinnamon. It's just something when we've got to have a good the cinnamon, hot cinnamon sugar,
The coverage.
the spice. It has to be solid.
Yep.
It can't just be. No,
You don't want your Woolworths half scattered.
You want your Coles. Your Coles
do you?
kill it. Yeah,
You want your Donut King, really.
Yeah, you do.
I'm
yeah.
never buying a cinnamon donut from a supermarket.
Dry or sweet cider.
Dry.
Me too.
Hard to get in Australia.
Okay. BYD or hot pink VW Beetle.
Oh. Matt, what Matt's done there is he's listed my current car versus my historical dream car. I'm going to say BYD because it's
That's
electric,
what you're driving.
better for the environment.
Build your dream. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Build your dreams.
Cervelo or Trek.
Cervelo.
Okay, I thought you'd do that. Taylor Swift or Missy Higgins?
Oh, gosh.
She's never going to want me to do one of these again.
I have to say Taylor Swift.
Okay, It's a big call.
Yeah.
Okay, hike or bike?
Ooh, bike.
Bike?
Love both.
Okay,
But
what bike it would be. Okay.
Yeah.
Original salted chips or mint choc ice cream?
Neither. You filthy animal.
You got to pick one. You pick the original salted chip, I know you.
What was it?
Get it
Mint.
done.
You said mint and I stopped listening.
Yeah, I know. Mint choc chip ice cream.
Salted chip.
Yeah, I
Because
knew
at
you
least
would.
I could put it in some French onion dip or something with some flavour.
Okay. From the pouch, remember that time?
I think I like From the Pouch.
Yeah, you do.
I think I'm on board.
Yeah,
I think
you
I'm
are.
on board.
Okay. Gold Coast or Sunshine Coast?
Sunshine Coast.
Hot coffee or chewing gum?
Matt's essentially using this or that to just create a list of things I hate.
Oh, there's some good ones in there. Come on.
Chewing gum, probably. I hate hot drinks so
Okay,
much.
so it'll be chewing gum.
Yeah.
A couple more to finish.
Oh, dear.
Okay, here we go.
He's done himself in.
It's not going to mean anything for anyone but you.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It's not even funny. Okay.
Good. Say it then.
I can't. Okay, I can. Nothing but yellow or nothing but beige?
It definitely means nothing. I think I'm going to go nothing but yellow. And one day we can explain
I have to
that.
explain nothing but yellow. Okay. Oh. Okay.
Okay.
And final one. We're almost there.
Almost there.
Amazed or constantly amazed?
You're the worst. You're the worst. Constantly amazed.
Every week.
Every week.
I have to explain that one at some point too.
Oh, that was this or that, folks. That was just for us. But thanks for joining in.
We've got to come
got
back and we've got to talk about a few things there. But
We do.
yeah, the nothing but beige or nothing but yellow. That's a remember that time that'll come up at some point. Or from the
It
pouch.
is,
That'll
yeah.
be pulled from the pouch.
That's pulled from the pouch about our friend Joy.
And
Yep.
the amazed or constantly amazed will come from the pouch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
they were the last two. I thought I just have to.
Those questions have been burning.
They have.
burning at you. Oh, that's amazing.
So yes,
That was very well done.
and I think on that note, we've got to. That's got to be it. Hey.
Yeah, I think so.
Episode 6
I think
done.
we can't get better than a
Let's-
2-minute wheeze laugh from you.
There's going to be some apologies next week. I can feel it. But yes, thank you everybody so very much. If you are a regular listener and you've come back for now the 6th time. Thank you. We try and be serious at some points, other points as not so serious, but would love you to keep following our journey. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Subscribe to YouTube if that's where you want to listen or even watch. We try and do a video every week. Had a few hiccups tonight. You might notice if you're watching a few little jump abouts here or there. But yeah, we appreciate you giving us your time. And if you've got any questions, drop them in. We don't have a website yet, but at some point soon we'll have a form. But send us a DM on Instagram. Or any of the other channels. Drop a comment with any questions or feedback that you've got. We'll include it in the app.
Perfect. If you can follow us on your podcast listening app of choice, it helps us to know that it's getting downloaded every week, and it helps us to know how many people are getting it, and
that's it.
Gives us a bit of an idea if people are into it or not.
Yes. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of your lovely weeks. We'll see you next week for episode 7.
Brilliant. Ciao.